With rants and raves, you'll be okay. And today is your lucky day. It is rants and raves with Gary K.
Hey everyone, this is Gary K, and we are back with another pre-Infocom edition of my Rants and Raves video cast. We've been focusing on brands. The most important brands are going to be exhibiting at the show that are making a big difference in the industry. And one of those that has had probably one of the biggest impacts in our industry in the last decade is Barco with the ClickShare. And I'm excited to be joined. And I've actually never had a discussion with Lars Duziak from Barco, and I'm excited to have him on today. Lars, how are you?
I'm doing really good. Thank you for the invite, Gary. It's a pleasure being here.
Well, I appreciate it. I love the ClickShare. As you know, I'm a big fan of the ClickShare. I think it not just innovated our market, but also it sort of helped bring our market to be more mainstream. I really think that our market has grown overall because of ClickShare. But over that 12 years that you've had ClickShare now, or, launched 12 years ago, you've been shipping it for 10 and a half years. Over that period of time, a lot has changed. We've gone from the AV departments managing all AV gear to them being under the IT departments. In a lot of cases, IT departments really controlling a lot of the AV gear because we added network ports to it. We're also using their Wi-Fi. We're using their network. And then we have AV over IP, where we're now taking the AV signals and converting them to IT signals. You kind of were at the right place at the right time, but earlier, actually on week before Infocom or June 6th, you launched a new version of the XMS cloud. And I've always been a big fan of XMS cloud, and I think that our industry doesn't totally understand it because I think they're a little bit shy of cloud-based things.
Yeah, but I think there is no reason really to be shy about those things because there is so many benefits coming with cloud systems.
Yeah.
First of all, think about the maintenance of on-prem systems. It always comes with a cost. You have IT departments, you have people. This is all more or less like invisible costs, but they are still there. And with a cloud system, we take all of these things into our accountability. And we deliver a system based on standards. And that's really a nice thing that you can rely on. So from my perspective, you should be all into cloud.
So what, tell me, so I say I'm a ClickShare user, and let's say I'm an enterprise, university or a big corporation user where I've got ClickShares in every single room. In fact, we have them at every room at UNC for the most part. So let's say I've got them in every room. What does XMS cloud give me that I don't have now without the hardware itself?
Well, that's a very straightforward answer. First of all, if you don't utilize XMS Cloud, you probably will do foot administration. So you will have to walk to each and every base unit. Think about you're having 300 base units. That's a quite painful thing to do.
You're talking about for firmware upgrades?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, exactly. So just the simplest things like updating a wallpaper because you've got some visitors. That means if you don't have access to it, you probably need to address everything each by each. And that's not a nice and convenient part. So utilizing XMS Cloud streamlines everything and makes it possible to really do things in bulk. So you do a template, for example, you apply the template to any type of base units that you have in your fleet or a location, and everything will adopt automatically to it. And that way, we can simplify the work time efforts of IT departments big times. Because if there is one thing nobody has available and we cannot make more of it, it's time, right? So, and XMS Cloud is especially targeting on that element to bring you more time in your daily tasks.
So I want to focus on some of the new features of XMS Cloud, but before we do that, and we're showing the dashboard, one of the dashboards right now, which will focus on some of the new features. But let me kind of propose a future vision. What if I'm in Classroom 3 and I want to send content to Classroom 10? Will we eventually see that as a feature of XMS Cloud so that I'm not having to log into the ClickShare in each individual room? Like, would we eventually see that as a function? Because you've got connectivity to all those rooms, and we're putting that content on the network in some way to get it there. Why couldn't XMS Cloud take it to the next level and actually do signal distribution as well?
Well, the answer is quite easy as well here. We are highly committed to security, so which means we're not fetching or transporting any kind of audio or video content from the base units, from the actual on-prem area to XMS Cloud, because we are very sensitive to the privacy of our audience. So
Okay.
there is absolutely security in mind by.
But what if
our
the
development.
audience wants it? Like, what if is there a path where you could see in the future where more than remote management, remote control, and remote servicing could be part of XMS Cloud? Because and also I would kind of wonder about it outreaching to other Barco products, right? And actually helping drive content on a signage network, for example, or on a on projectors for that matter.
Absolutely, I think you're touching a quite important point with talking about like the control things of time as well as digital signage, because there is absolutely the possibility already today
Yeah.
to utilize digital signage, and in the future, if you think about the IT persona itself, they would want to come back to the time-saving part. And since we are operating as a conferencing system, you obviously also want to have control mechanism on the peripherals. So we're exploring into that direction to really simplify the
The way you're
life.
doing the digital signage right now could be the way that you handle the digital signage feature right now could be the way that you handle sort of an entire network in the future. But I don't know. I just kind of see it as a vision. Some of the new features. I mean, obviously you've got a new dashboard, a lot better UI. Tell me about how this new design helps the IT department. You know, I know you've improved the overall kind of graphical look. You got a light mode and a dark mode. You got a bunch of features like that.
Yeah, exactly. So what we mainly focus around is reducing click rates. So instead of having lengthy tasks, you need to go like 10 times into a certain feature and whatsoever. We really focused on bringing the entire user experience with a new interface
in the overall dashboard.
Yes, exactly. Not only on the dashboard. The dashboard is basically our greeting point to you, where we think this needs to give you on a one-stop, immediately direct overview about everything that is happening, system health, events, what is going wrong, but what is also going good, right? So the intention is really you come in, you get your information, and you're good to go and take the next steps from there. And especially I want to point out the system health part, because here at the system health, we are utilizing the events that we are introducing as well to calculate how are you doing. And events are anything that is happening on your base units. Taking it to the next step, making it a very direct example. We have meeting rooms out there that people feel not comfortable with. So what do? They go into those meeting rooms and they maybe unplug an HDMI cable, or they may be, exactly. So you want to be ahead of those things as an IT administrator, because the next person that goes into that room probably has a bad experience because the cable was unplugged and the room is no longer functioning. So instead of being reactive, what we did is introducing events into the base units as well as XMS Cloud, giving every IT department, every integrator and reseller that works on behalf of others the ability to proactively fix those issues, ensuring that users never see a failing room. And that is what
so more proactive, obviously, in that case.
Exactly. Totally proactive approach, bringing rooms to always available statuses. That's the goal.
And you know, in addition to system health, you obviously can do remote updates, firmware and software updates. You can also, I'm sure you have the ability to tell who's connected where and who. I mean, can you even give data like which buttons are used the most and what kind of connectivity and what kind of content is used the most? If I'm a data person in IT and I wonder, you know, as I'm doing new rooms, what I need to put in those rooms, what kind of data are you collecting with regard to that for them?
Well, that's a very, very interesting point, because we just recently renewed our entire analytics and insights area. So where we added a whole lot new functionalities in the back end, and that will enable us to give you a complete different view on how your meeting rooms are utilized and exactly what is going on in those meeting rooms. So you basically want to understand how many hybrid meetings do I have, how many presentations or more in-room meetings do I have, how many persons are actually in my rooms, and so on and so on. So it does not stop anywhere, because all the data that is available from a configuration perspective and so on, we will be utilizing to give our audience the best insights of the meeting rooms, taking it to the next level so that they can take better decisions on what to purchase for the next round. Because that is really important. You have a lot of times preferences of users that you cannot really indicate, and you need data, and you need a good informational platform like XMS Cloud to deliver this to you.
And does that include abandoned rooms as well, like or abandoned meetings where you've booked a meeting but the meeting didn't happen, or you booked a meeting for an hour and it was only 15 minutes? Do I get that kind of data as well? Because I think that's one thing I've heard recently that a lot of end users want.
Yeah, so in order to get there, you simply utilize our Azure Calendar integration. You will be capable on combining that with your meeting rooms. And in the future, we will be also capable on giving you insights exactly on those elements. Yes, totally.
Okay. And then obviously between the two, you got ClickShare as a hardware product, you got XMS as a software cloud-based platform. You created an ecosystem. And I would think that, you could bring more into that ecosystem. There's a lot more that could be leveraged there. You've got this, basically you've created this marketplace that I'm kind of curious as to where we might see that go in the future, what we might see at InfoComm.
Yeah, I think our marketplace is one of the most exciting features that we have just recently integrated into the platform, because it really glues everything together. So all the elements that are out there, we know there is people that would like to use certain features or certain applications which are not necessarily available in the system itself, but we will be capable on bringing all of these things together. Saying so, we already started with digital signage, so you can select your most preferred digital signage vendor, and you can start it right away out of the marketplace itself.
Beyond so you're compatible with other CMSs out there, that third-party CMS platforms and such. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. We do integrations, so to bring the most convenient way of integrating that for our audience as well. So we take all the effort. You shouldn't do that as a user. But there is more, not only about the apps and integrations. Basically, every feature we will be bringing in the future will be part of the marketplace. And that has a simple reason. We would like to have the barrier of entry as low as possible. So basically zero. Every IT administrator, and I'm pretty sure I'm speaking for the majority out there, is struggling with the introduction of a new platform and a new system. So because you need to read lengthy documentations and so on, this is taking productivity away. So you're basically just sitting around learning something, but you're not doing anything. Our ambition and goal is to bring you into the system right away, so that you can be productive from day zero onwards. And the coolest thing about all of this is it's basically free. It costs nothing. The marketplace is called a marketplace, but it is completely free. Just use it and enjoy the convenience of having the features being used or not used, and decided for your team as well.
You kind of alluded to simplicity and less barrier to entry. I'm curious how the onboarding process has been made better through the updates and through the new version of XMS Cloud, and how you tackle, the high demand applications, and getting people on the system in general when they're new users, as well as management.
Yeah, there is two sides that I would like to give you updates on. One side is in the system already now. Once we are releasing it fully to the public as well, you will have a guide that is guiding you through the necessary steps. But think about it as the most simplistic way. You just have a token from the base unit, you add it, and it will be all guided through in just 3 steps, and you're done. So your base unit is registered and is in the system, and you can manage it. But what we will do in the future, and we are already working big times on that, is removing all of this friction with the token and giving you the ability to scan QR codes. So the best way of adding something is to not do anything, right? Yeah. So you just utilize your phone, your smartphone, or your tablet to scan a QR code that will be on the devices or on the screen that is connected to the devices. And beyond that, the best part is, as we know, we have integrators that do like to work with their PCs. It's a web app, so it will also be capable to be run on the laptops themselves, which is, I think, the best way of going forward.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I can't imagine a ClickShare without the button, though. I mean, everyone likes the physical, you feel confident with that physical connectivity.
Indeed.
And you also know there's a higher level of security, honestly, with the
Yes.
button because of the way that y'all deal with security in there. So I imagine that there are going to be a lot of applications where you go away from the button, but I imagine there'll still be a lot of people that like it because you know that if you issue a button to somebody, you physically know they have that connectivity point. They know how to connect. There's always that nervous thing about when you've done an update to your laptop.
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to work? You know what I mean? Like, is AirPlay going to work? Is Chromecast going to work, at that moment in time? And, but that button gives you that confidence.
Absolutely.
So I don't see that button completely going away from ClickShare, but I certainly could be wrong. But this has been a great overview. And of course, I would encourage everyone, if you haven't seen first off, you haven't seen the new ClickShare. By the way, I don't know if you know this, Lars, but it just won an award from our Reader's Choice Awards, which we issued yesterday. I can't remember which award it won, but it was, I think it was our readers' favorite UCC product, if I remember correctly. But that's the Gen 2 CX50 product. If you haven't seen that product, you should definitely make sure you go to Barco's booth 2529 at InfoComm, and then make sure you have a chance to get a tour of XMS Cloud because there's a lot going on there. And I think that it'll help you. XMS Cloud, to me, I think is a good bridge point for kind of the AV people having a relationship with the IT people inside of an organization, because I think it'll help an IT department see that here's an AV company that's really stepped up to the game, stepped up to the mat with a product that is aimed at IT departments and gives them control, which is really what they want. They want to feel that control with the security that you're offering. So you'll be in booth 2529. And of course, there'll be a lot of other stuff there. You're going to show your LEDs, you're going to show your new projection technology. Barco always has a Belgian beer thing going on. So much stuff to see in the booth at InfoComm and 2529. Of course, you can always go to barco.com. We've actually published articles on everything we've talked about here. You can go to ravepubs.com/InfoComm and see everything. Lars, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Same. Thank you.
Thank you.
rAVe Radio with rAVe.